Thank you, Kate, and welcome to the Hammer. An absolutely beautiful Saturday here in the Hammer as the Hamilton Tiger Cats trying to get their first victory of the season. The Argonauts feeling themselves a little bit coming after a victory on the road in Montreal just last week. Marshall Ferguson, Dwayne Ford. We got Lapo down at the field level for us here throughout the evening. Bo Levi Mitchell, the hottest start of his career in terms of passing yardage. He would love to get in the win column, though, Dwayne.
Yeah, he certainly would. Bo has thrown for over 300 yards in 4 of 5 games, hit 295 in the other game, but that doesn't seem to be translating to wins. It may take some other parts of their game to get going here. One of the guys looking to make life difficult for Bo and the rest of the Hamilton Tiger Cats here today. Of course, Winton McManus had a pick 6 last week in Montreal.
Ryan Dinwiddie said the team's starting to find their identity after that victory against the Alouettes. A little bit more physical, a little bit more running the football, and well, Scott Milanovich, he just wants to figure out a way to get rid of that 0 in the front of their win column here in Hamilton. It has been a struggle for a variety of different reasons. I'm sure we'll peel through them with you as we go throughout the evening. Toronto won the coin toss. They deferred. Hamilton will receive the football here to begin the game. It is partly cloudy, 27 degrees Celsius, feels like 31. The turf is hot, and the players are warm and ready to go. And what should be a great back and forth, a precursor to Labor Day. The next time they meet, as the ball rolls off the tee early on, will be on September 2nd. Labor Day is the next time these teams have a chance to square off, and it will be, of course, right here at Tim Hortons Field. As Antti Litre and Devon Harris back to return for the Tiger Cats. Liram Harala, who gets us underway on a Saturday night in the donut box, as it is returned out to about the 38-39 yard line, and out comes the red hot, but a little bit hot under the collar, looking for this victory, Bo Levi Mitchell.
Yeah, and one of the keys for Bo Mitchell in this game is to get off to a good start, obviously, and for the Hamilton Tiger Cats, that has been a struggle. One of the very telling features, and maybe looking to go with a little tempo offense out of the gate here to spark that.
College-style run right off the sideline and right onto the line of scrimmage. First snap of the game. Bo looks to his right, comes back left, and checks it down underneath, completed. Diving over the top, Cameron McDonald makes the grab as the Hamilton Tiger Cats offense looks like this.
Yeah, one change on the offensive line. Second-year man Brandon Kemp comes in at the right tackle spot as they look to solidify those, and been starting 2 rookies at the tackles. Keep an eye, of course, on the key offensively for the Tiger Cats. Running back James Butler, over 100 yards receiving for him last week.
Seen so much of that the last couple weeks in the CFL. Walter Fletcher had a 100-plus yard game as well, as they'll play 2nd down and 3. Pressure on, Bo, quick release, and it's complete, and now the ball rolls away as that one into the waiting arms of Shamar Bridges. 34 catches, 4th in the CFL, but they'll call it incomplete, so he doesn't add to his tally here.
Yeah, quick hitter here, good protection, get the ball out of Bo's hands early. He delivers it where he needs to. Bridges unable to hold on as contact comes quickly.
The return game of the Toronto Argonauts has been a story. Janarian Grant special the last few weeks, back-to-back weeks with return touchdowns. He'll get his first touch of the ball game here from just outside his 15-yard line. Stutter step, head down the near sideline, and is pushed out of bounds. That is a 48-yard punt, and Janarian Grant picks up right where he left off in Montreal last week.
Yeah, not a long return by any stretch for Janarian Grant, but certainly nice job by the well-accomplished returner, making something out of nothing on this one.
So the Toronto Argonauts offense comes out. Cameron Dukes against the Alouettes in that victory last week completed 80% of his passes, but only 2 pass attempts were deeper than 9 yards down the field. It was the ultimate ball control pass attack. It worked to a T. What can they do here tonight in Hamilton? Dukes will begin with a handoff up in between the tackles. Stop for a minimal gain as we look at Cam Dukes and his numbers, the way he's performed with this team. The hot start, of course, 2-0, and then battling through it a little bit in the last while.
Yeah, and the big number is that completion percentage. That's what it's all about. You talked about the efficiency, the quick passing game, high percentage. Jim Barker talked about it in the pregame show. Don't put him in any more difficult a situation than you need him to be in. Don't ask him to execute anything unnecessary.
Short motion here to the field. That's where Dukes looks. Now he'll escape the pocket to his left. Go get the first down himself. Slides down exactly where he needed to be to move the chains. He had 5 touchdowns, 0 interceptions in their 2-0 start, and then 0 touchdowns, 5 interceptions until last week in Montreal. I haven't seen much of this though with the legs, Dwayne.
Yeah, but this is part of the package for Cameron Dukes, and a positive that you want to see from him is you keep the sticks moving. Don't force a pass when a pass isn't there. If you can run to get the first down and keep our offense on the field, that's what you do. And, you know, we talk about their game plan and, you know, limiting his level of difficulty. It's not about not believing in Cameron Dukes. It's about putting him in a position to succeed.
Looks down the middle of the field here. Now pressure on Dukes. Fades to his right. Gets it in his hands, and it is incomplete. As you can see, taken for the rarely targeted Albert Awache as the Argonauts offense will play second down and 10.
Yeah, looking at this offense, keep an eye on young offensive lineman Gregor McKellar out of St. FX as he'll face a couple of former teammates in the interior of that defense. Today, Tavares Daniels making his 100th career CFL start. Today, big milestone for him.
Dukes with second and 10. Hamilton crowd into it. Quick drop all day. Now the pressure comes. He escapes from Nick Usher, fading to his right again and completes this one. But running backwards won't be anywhere close to the yardage required. So the punting unit comes out for the Argonauts, and Dukes having some pressure here early on that front for the Ticats, doing a good job.
Yeah, good push, denting things there. You see Dwayne Hendricks, Nick Usher forcing the early throw.
Von Harris back to return. It's blocked. It's Litre rolling on the turf, still fumbling around, and it will be Hamilton ball inside the 10. Perhaps the spark they needed to get rid of that 0 in the win column as Andy Litre comes flying through. Haggerty had it on the foot, could have blocked it with his face. Clean through for Litre.
Well, take a look back at that block punt. Ante Litre is coming off the end of the line. The man responsible for him, Fraser Sopik, the deep back, just blew a tire. He knew he had him. When he tries to get back inside to get in front of him, lost his footing, leaving Litre a straight path on the inside. Veteran special teamer knows to keep going. Took a good route there, going for the ball, not the kicker, and sets the Ticats up.
Well, Levi Mitchell hands it off right down the pipe. The Butler did it. Touchdown Ticats.
Well, we talked about the Ticats need to get off to a fast start and talked about the need for the numbers to come from someone other than Bo Levi Mitchell. Special teams sets him up. And right here, short field. Great job by the offensive line. Nice work by the center, David Beard. And James Butler is in for the game's opening touchdown. Just under 4 minutes into this ballgame, Marsh.
2 things, Dwayne, that they talked about and preached leading up to this game. Slow starts here in Hamilton, and Scott Milanich mentioned we're just not blocking things up properly. Well, 2 birds, 1 play. Right there for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Block it up, get a rushing touchdown. Complimentary football with special teams factoring in. The defense got him off the field in the first place, but this man, James Butler, punches it in for the early Hamilton advantage. He punches it in, but it all happened because of this. What a block by Andy Litre, Dwayne, to get things rolling here for Hamilton.
Yeah, manages to come free, straight to that block point, elevates and gets it done, and then James Butler and some fine work by that Hamilton offensive line. Get the Cats on the board first.
Dennis McKnight, special teams coordinator, brought in here to take over the top job on special. Never afraid to throw a kiss or 2 around the sidelines. Make sure everybody knows how much they're appreciated. So Litre plays the hero, and there is Coach McKnight, one of the more entertaining characters, dare say, across all of football, as he loves the way that his team has begun this game. As Janarian Grant would love to change the pace of this football game right now with a big return. Looks down the near sideline once again and gets pushed out of bounds up around the 32-yard line as we take a look at Cam Duke's performance last week against the Montreal Alouettes in a victory.
Yeah, big divisional win, of course, for the Toronto Argonauts to end that tremendous run by the Montreal Alouettes. Not huge numbers. You talked about it, Marsh. It was a quick passing game, a couple of very strategically selected bigger plays in that game, but I mean, that is not the game plan, right? Limit the risk.
With Cody Fajardo out of that game last week, the defense for the Argonauts really were the ones that played hero and got them to that victory. As Dukes looked like he was going to pump him. He runs against popped as Nick Usher walks over the top of him after a huge hit. And Dukes gets up a little sideways, but looks no worse for wear.
Yeah, watch Usher, bottom of your screen, left defensive end. He just retraces his steps as the quarterback starts working upfield. Catches Dukes looking the other way.
Good clean hit. I gotta say, now that we're at the third mark of the CFL season, I'm watching that game with Winnipeg. People are hitting all of a sudden. There's a lot of contact is right through the middle. You see Kadeem Carey pick up the first down after Dukes earns it. Let's look at this Hamilton Tiger Cats defense. It's been struggling a little bit on the young side on the back end.
Yeah, we'll see if you can follow the theme here. Former Argos, Brandon Barlow and Dwayne Hendricks on the D-line. Former Argo Trevor Hoyt. Got some looks at the weak side linebacker. But former Argo, Jamal Peters, manning the boundary corner. And note, Stavros Katsantonis, who was a game-time decision, out of the game. First-year man Rob Panabaker gets the start at free safety for Hamilton tonight.
For Katsantonis, 5 knockdowns, leads the Canadian Football League, so they will miss him, but we'll see how Panabaker plays his pressure on, and down goes Dukes. Speaking of former Argos.
Yes, sir. We were friends last year, but now I'm hunting you, buddy. Dwayne Hendricks from his defensive tackle spot. Getting after it. Just quickness in space beats Gregor McKellar. Find his way into the backfield and to the quarterback.
That is a big man at 6'4", 270. Moving quick like that. As Hendricks tees off again to try and get home to Dukes. This time completed outside. That'll be Richie Sindani, the University of Calgary Dinos product, making the grab. And it'll be a gain of about 10, 11 yards on the play. But third down, and out comes the punting unit, trying to redeem themselves from the block of just a few minutes ago.
And so far, so good for the Hamilton Tiger Cats defensively, getting that second and extra long situation. They're basically able to sit back a little bit, give up the underneath stuff, come up and make a tackle. Well executed.
Guessing that Fraser Sopik doesn't go too far outside his frame on this one. It stays square and they get it away. Haggerty sends it down the field. Harris will receive it at his own 14-yard line. Makes the man miss. And Teodric Hansen is there to clean up the mess. A 47-yard punt as Bo Levi Mitchell, fastest pace of his career, the fastest he's ever gotten beyond 1,500 yards. Bo Levi Mitchell and his performance to start this season, it's been pretty special against the BC Lions. He was going shot for shot back and forth with Vernon Adams Jr.
Yeah, a little dueling Eastern Washington product pivots in that ball game.
Once every week in the CFL.
Well, it kind of is, isn't it? But, you know, I mean, you look at Bo's numbers, and I talk about the 300-yard games. Part of that is circumstance, right? They got to throw the ball because they're playing from behind a lot.
Well, trap reverse here for Hamilton to kick off this drive. Creative play that time. Gets the ball into the hands of Devon Harris after he's had so much success joining up on the return unit.
Yeah, now that he's been with the Cats for a couple of weeks, starting to try to get Harris, their primary returner, involved a little bit on offense. What I would call the, can I call it the stereotypical CFL way?
Yeah.
Is that fair?
Get hogs ready.
Robert Priester makes the tackle there, leaves 2 yards. As the fullback, James Tuck is in for Hamilton. They'll hand it off to James Butler, the touchdown maker. And not much of a push that time off the left side. Argos front was ready for us as big Jake Serezna in the lineup and making plays. He's the last Argonaut back onto his feet.
Yeah, you mentioned Serezna sat out last week due to injury, but Argos obviously thrilled to have him back in, adding to that depth in the interior of that defensive line. Great in combination with Jared Brinkman, former Edmonton Elk, acquired in the Curly Gittins trade in the offseason.
Constantino comes out at a Texas A&M. Just your typical 6'3", 225-pound punter. That's ready to launch this one away. Janarian Grant, 84-yard punt return touchdown a few weeks ago in Saskatchewan. This one will bounce behind Grant, overran it, and he'll pick it up just outside of his 10, try and make something with it, but the coverage is perfect from Hamilton. Early advantage on specials clearly goes to the Hamilton Tiger Cats as we look at Kadeem Carey as he takes his place back in the huddle on the field here and what he's been able to do recently.
Yeah, Kadeem Carey has been so important to this Toronto Argonaut attack as we talk about trying to put a young quarterback in a comfortable situation. They're able to play to the strengths of Cameron Dukes when they're able to run the ball well. Carey obviously has been very good in the ground game behind that veteran Argos offensive line.
So a flag down on the field here, or a challenge. Let's actually come out.
Objectionable conduct.
Oh.
Hamilton, number 43. It's a 10-yard misconduct penalty. Be a first down.
And it looked like that was Carthel Flowers-Lloyd who actually made the special teams tackle on that last play, but maybe celebrated a little bit too hard, so they give a penalty for it. Ed Hervey down there, the general manager on the sideline, has a word.
Flowers-Lloyd, who was such a terror on special teams for the Ticats as a rookie last season.
Yeah, right from the get-go as a CFL, you could tell he was made for special teams here up north. Handoff inside, just mentioned Kadeem Carey. He plunges his way forward for a solid chunk that time on first down. He'll be right up next to the first down markers will get made.
We talk about it all the time, but that ability to run the ball successfully, obviously putting you in these manageable second and shorts, not forcing you into passing situations, not putting a strain on your own line because you're allowing them to be aggressive in the run game as opposed to having to kind of sit back and take it as pass blockers.
Yeah, well, speaking of taking it, Cam Dukes on that sneak rolled his way to the right-hand side, and waiting right there for him was the man talking, Kyle Wilson. Gave him a couple extra jabs. 3rd and 1, they didn't get it last time. Dukes tries to lean his way to the right. I don't think he got much of anything here. We'll see where they spot it. But Hamilton's defense might have come up big once again. It's going to be close from our view here as Nick Usher, right on top of it, thinks that they've stopped the Argonauts.
Well, needed less than a yard. But you're right, there wasn't a lot of push there, but this is going to be a close one.
Gotta love Jamal Peters right up in the middle of it all, talking smack to his ex-teammates, the Argonauts. As the Hamilton defense has certainly come to play here early on. And Peters told us this week he was really ready to play against Toronto, excited about the opportunity after making the switch from double blue to black and gold. They'll pull the chains out. Your guess is as good as mine at home. First down, barely, but here is the roll off to the right-hand side. Man, just a wall of black uniforms there. Jamal Peters not in on the tackle.
Just enough. I mean, maybe what this Ticat defense needed was just to face the Argos every week, where there's a little bit of that QEW rivalry and a little bit of familiarity breeding contempt with so many former Argos on the Ticat D.
Quick game this time. Catch by Tavares Daniels. Goes for a gain of 7. It'll be 2nd down and 3.
Yeah, just a quick hitter here from Devaris Daniels. Middle receiver as they go trips to that wide side. Rasheed Bailey into block.
Talk a lot about Cam Dukes being conservative with the football, but simple little reads like that, trying to hold linebackers, open up throwing windows, and get 7 yards on first down. That's why they had success and started 2-0. As now Dukes will hand it off, Carey running hard. And it looks like he'll get just enough to move the sticks once again. Hamilton defense hitting in between the tackles. Wilson fired up, came into the game 31 tackles. That's 5th in the CFL. Carey's going to have to deal with him all night.
Yeah, the Ticat defense is going to rely on Kyle Wilson, quite frankly, and there's been so much turnover on this Hamilton D, particularly in the front seven. Kyle Wilson, though, a guy who's not been a full-time starter in the past. Fact is, as a Hamilton Tiger Cat, he's one of their most experienced defenders.
Says a lot about the lack of veteran leadership, some changeover here for the Hamilton Tiger Cats on defense, but the youth and exuberance makes a great play in from behind that time. It's Brandon Barlow chasing it down as the Hamilton Tiger Cats linebackers, Dwayne, and the amount of bodies they've changed over and where they've come from.
Yeah, and we'll start on the right side of the screen here, and you look at the experience they had at linebacker last season. These are the numbers as of the end of the year. Simone Lawrence, Chris Edwards having retired, Jameer Thurman, now a Saskatchewan Rough Rider, over 300 career starts. Jonathan Moxey, 45 of the 56 career starts among all the linebackers dressed today, and most of his starts came at corner in Calgary, not in the box.
Duke stands in, fires one over the middle of the field as Panabaker makes the tackle. It's Rasheed Bailey on the grab. It will be short of the sticks, but again, not much work left to do, so it looks like they'll keep the offense out there.
Yeah, the Argos continuing to chip away. Dukes gets good protection. Bailey just able to body out Rob Panabaker to make that catch.
Late decision, but they do see it as 2 full yards to go. So Dukes in the offense to the sideline. Will be John Haggerty, the global, ready to boot this one away. That's a tough catch for Rasheed Bailey, running at full speed into a tight window. A laser from Dukes. The catches it, but just didn't have the momentum to get the first down yardage. So Harris will receive the punt just outside his 10-yard line. Finds a little bit of breathing room, heads to the wide side. If he beats this man, he might have the numbers needed. Turns on the wheels, and there is, speaking of crumbles, the big man, Daedric Hansen. Chases him down, defensive lineman in the open field, but what a great return once again for Harris. 37 big ones, and again, special teams, the story in this first quarter as Hamilton leads 7-0 over the rival Argos.
He wanted to make sure how they can start. You heard everybody talk about how do they start faster by making sure they don't get any penalty situations. And defensively, they needed to be nice. They wanted to be simpler for everybody so the players can fly around and have less defensive packages in, guys.
Thank you, that Bo Levi Mitchell looks to throw this time over the top of Fraser Soba, completed and sliding down. But after a great catch and run, Tim White, and that'll certainly help them continue this quicker than usual start inside the final minute of the first quarter after a gain of 17.
Yeah, nice touch on this ball from Bo Levi Mitchell. See the Ticats maxing it up in protection, trying to give them time to allow this one to develop. Just dropping it in behind the linebackers.
Royce Mechie gets credit for the tackle there as he tapped down Tim White. As Mitchell, play action, deeper drop, loads it up, comes backside this time, and it is caught. That's Stephen Dunbar Jr. inside the 20. They go as Dunbar, his best work done here in black and gold before leaving for Edmonton. He's back, and Hamilton's offense is in a rhythm.
And here's Stephen Dunbar lined up out wide, top of your screen. Motion down to give himself a little bit of space before breaking it back to the outside. Nice route from the veteran receiver. Spent last season in Edmonton after starting his career as a Ticat. Happy to have his size and experience back in this receiving corps.
Bo Levi Mitchell came in 16 of 21 here inside the score zone, inside the 20. They can add to that tally, but Little to no gain that time. Little check down underneath. And who else? Wynton McManus there to make the tackle. Came in with 20.9% of Toronto's tackles. That leads the CFL. But right now, it's the Hamilton Tiger Cats leading the Toronto Argonauts 7-0 after 1 quarter of play. Much more ahead here from the Hammer. After 1 quarter of play, they don't overly tell the story, though, because the hardest thing, outside of maybe offensive line play in the CFL game, to actually equate special teams and the influence that they can have. Scott Milanovic, you heard from Paul Lapalisse, our sideline reporter, he knew as the head coach he had to come back out of the bye week with answers. You have to give those to your team. Well, I think the first one he probably gave them was, guys, can our special teams please try to find a way to help us? And they have here early on.
Yeah, absolutely huge play from Ante Litre to get the block punt. Miscue, obviously, by the Toronto Argonauts in terms of their blocking scheme, but he takes advantage of it. Veteran guy kind of setting the tone for that special teams group. And I think that is the formula for success for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Obviously, as we talked about off the top, Bo can still throw the ball.
Oh, yeah.
Don't want to have to rely on Bo throwing the ball for wins.
There's a reason he had 48 attempts against the BC Lions last week, as he'll look to throw here once again on 2nd and 8. Checks it down. James Butler tries to make Wynton McManus miss. And that rare feat is accomplished, but the amount of time it took in order to try and run away from Wynton, everybody else from Toronto was right there to bring him down.
Yeah, Mitchell looking deep. Shamar Bridges came open late, but by that point, Bo had settled for that check down to James Butler. As mentioned, Butler over 100 yards receiving last week.
One away from 20 yards out. Shifted the tee forward at the last second there, so an easy one for Mark Leggio. Great hold, getting it down. Up and through, and the lead extends 10-0 now. Don't miss the return of the global phenomenon critics call thrilling and endlessly captivating. HBO's House of the Dragon. The new season is streaming now, only on Crave. Watching this special teams unit to begin the second quarter, pick up where they left off in the first quarter, it does really make you think about what Bo said this week of, if you watch Cody Fajardo, what's the biggest difference between him at this time last year and the way he's playing this year when healthy after the Grey Cup and all the rest? Confidence.
Yeah.
Well, why does he have confidence? Because everybody around him is making plays, and it's not that Bo was throwing anybody under the bus, but he was just saying, we all got to start making plays, and then we'll all start believing in each other. Well, this has been a huge help.
Yeah, I mean, we talk so much about wins and losses as a quarterbacking statistic. Wins and losses are very much a team thing. Quarterback wins, not a lot of good quarterbacks playing on bad teams getting wins.
There's not a lot of good things on the platform formerly known as Twitter, but one of the best things is the saying, wins are not a quarterback stat.
Yeah.
that ends up on my timeline about 50 times every college football Saturday, and it is very true. So Bo believes that the entire team needs to try and help out, and he's going to do his part to make that happen as well, as Mark Leggio has it on the tee. Spins this one down to the 20-yard line. Janarian Grant crosses the 30. It's Litre, almost makes the tackle. And now the special teams unit rallies just shy of the 35. Some great battles here on special teams on the return units. I expect to see those carry over into a hotly contested Labor Day Classic down the road.
The always dangerous Janarian Grant getting all sorts of extra attention from the Hamilton special teams unit. Linebacker DQ Thomas in on the tackle.
It's the first time Hamilton has had a lead after the first quarter of a football game this year. Also of note, the last 5 games, Hamilton-Toronto, Hamilton has never held a lead. Wire-to-wire wins in 5 straight for the Argonauts. As now DeVaris Daniels didn't get the cadence. Daniel Adebaboye has the football in his hands, but this snap never happened.
Offside. Toronto number 15. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
Well, Mackay Polk takes the rap.
I think he's shaking his head saying, wasn't me.
Yeah, you see him in the slot. The hands coming up. I thought you said on one.
Well, him and Daniel, somehow both slot backs on both sides, weren't on the same page as Cameron Duke, so it sets them back. First and 15. Four-man rush. Duke looks to his right, comes back middle, pressure on, feels it, evades Hendricks, now throws it to the sideline. Richard Leonard went hunting. Thought he might be able to reach that one in time, but incomplete. Second and 15.
Yeah, Cat's happy to get Richard Leonard back in the lineup, providing a little bit more experience. You see Duke starting off on the scramble, recognizing he's in a little bit of trouble, throwing that one to the sidelines to protect the field position.
Wayne Hendricks does not seem fun to block tonight. He is all over the place. Hamilton's secondary would love to get their hands on more footballs, struggle to do so, especially without Stavros Katsantonis in the lineup. Snap comes up, bit of an awkward pace there to start this play, and now just a check down out of a boy. A lot of work to do. Jamal Peters, open field tackle, the former Argo brings down out of a boy.
Well, Jamal Peters, noted ball hawk throughout his CFL career, showing off his tackling skills here. Coming up to close on Adeboboye, limiting him to a short gain and forcing the Argos into this punting situation.
Toronto kicks it away once again. Spiraling boot drops down to Harris. 24-yard line, has a little bit of room. Slides his way through traffic and almost had that football ripped out after a 50-yard punt as John Haggerty continues to have an exceptional season kicking the football. The heat and humidity of the hammer on full display on Saturday night. CFL on TSN. We saw a victory from Scott Millett. What are these graphics? What is this video? What is this from? How long ago was this? Scott Milanovich with the Toronto Argonauts. September 2016. And some of the names and jerseys, and man, we like to look backwards, but that feels like a true throwback already. Crazy how long ago that seems, especially when you consider his journey into Edmonton. Never had a chance to coach, season gets canceled, goes back south, goes to the NFL, comes back, bounces around. Well, here he is, head coach of the Hamilton Tiger Cats, and it has been a minute in terms of CFL wins, trying to end that tonight. James Butler, 9 versus 9 there with Royce Mechie dragging him down from behind. Is Milanovich's record over the last while here, as you see his season by season, a lot of success, creative mind certainly in the Canadian Football League, but the record over the last 2 seasons, they're 5-13, 0-5. That's tough.
Yeah, obviously a difficult start. One of the things that the Tiger Cats are looking at, only 0-1 within the East Division, and obviously given the playoff format, that serves as motivation for them as they look to turn things around.
One-on-one battle that time, won by the Argonauts as Reggie Franklin defends Shamar Bridges. Again, trying to go back to that isolated matchup. They'd love to get Bridges increasingly involved in this aerial attack, but can't complete that one. As Bo Levi Mitchell and the Ticats offense 0 of 4 now on second down conversions.
Yeah, they got that fast start on the scoreboard, certainly fast start out of special teams. Offense still trying to kick it into gear here.
Argonauts punt return unit up front, biding their time. Constantino sends it down the field. Janarian Grant catches it at his 18-yard line. Stutter steps, and again, coverage units right there on the spot. The umbrella is working tonight as Felix Garon Gauthier makes the tackle. Kadeem Carey They're asking for more out of him this season in double blue. Signed on. Tiger Cats defense trying to work things through, talk it over, injuries, all the rest. Let's go down to Paul LaPolice with more on the Hamilton defense finding its groove.
What Scott talked about was trying to keep it simple, and he and Mark Washington wanted to make sure it was simpler. What have they been doing? Playing a lot of zone coverage, and their pass rush, just rushing 4 people, are able to get home against the Argonauts offensive line. So good so far, halfway through the first half.
Nice Lapo. Kadeem Carey in the backfield here is a completion. Looks like that's Rasheed Bailey making the grab and getting rolled up on by Thomas, who is one of those fresh faces in defense. And Thomas slow up onto his feet as DQ needs a moment to gather himself on the sidelines.
And as he does that, just want to follow up on Lapo's thought about this Hamilton defense. And yeah, this has been one of the things. There's been so much turnover, so much change for this group.
But the ball is out, and he already whistles. Hamilton heads back the other way. Touchdown, Tiger Cats. Special teams got the block punt. Defense making plays on the aerial attack of the Argonauts early on, and now Cam Dukes, who was a little bit worse for wear on a quarterback sneak earlier on, moving the wheels, spinning them, not going anywhere. Somebody popped this one out, and it's a house call.
Yeah, Kyle Wilson reached out with the left hand before Dukes was down and just slapped that ball out. Dukes still on his feet, driving forward. Wilson stacked in behind the line, reached out with the left hand, slapped the ball free. Destin Talbert scoops it up and takes it to the house. So special teams sets one up. Defense playing fast, as Lapo talked about. A little bit less in terms of the overall defensive package in this week. Less thinking for a somewhat inexperienced group. They come up with a big play there.
So Talbot into the end zone, and you might think after they automatically review the scoring play there, and it is confirmed as a Tiger Cats touchdown with the extra point to count. You think, why is everyone standing around? They're just watching that play happen. Wilson didn't even know he had forced a fumble. I'm watching him on that replay. He pops it out. He's laying on the ground, starts to stand back up. And as he does, Talbert's already halfway to the end zone. So right place, right time, and another bad bounce for the Toronto Argonauts here as their QEW rivals, the Hamilton Tiger Cats, getting play after play, and it leads to a 17-0 advantage midway through the...
Keep an eye here on number 15, Kyle Wilson, lined up at middle linebacker. As he makes his way over to the ball carrier, you see him reach with that left hand to scoop the ball out. Pops it free on Dukes, gives him a little pat on the head. After the play, Talbot, the rest of those defenders aware that as you said, Marsh, there had been no whistle. Play continues on because everything seems so casual.
Yeah.
It was, I think half the guys on the field thought the play was over.
This kick fading towards the Tiger Cats bench, and it'll go out of bounds. Shades of Boris Beatty in Edmonton, and the tough ending for the Elks at home last week against the Ottawa Red Blacks.
Hamilton number 33. Ball will be placed at the 50-yard line.
Start continuing in Edmonton despite the coaching change.
Dukes, after having the short yardage sneak go awry, back out onto the field, was 15 of 18 on pass attempts under 9 yards. Depth of target last week against the Montreal Alouettes. Opening up a little bit more here tonight, but still working the underneath as once again back to the ground game, and it is Kadeem Carey churning the legs once again for a gain of about 3, maybe 4 yards on the play. But the running game really is, it feels like, the emerging identity of this Argonauts offense under Cam Dukes.
Yeah, I think it definitely is, and I think probably in a little different way than with Chad Kelly at quarterback. Dukes operates this offense liking to use his legs a little bit, not necessarily running the football per se, but play action rollouts, getting on the move a little bit more rather than standing back in the pocket and slinging.
They'll be forced to do so here on second and long. A flag comes out, completed underneath to Polk, and Jamal Peters is playing football tonight, man. He is flying around and making plays. Will sort out the penalty. I love the quote that Whitten McManus had to us this week, Dwayne, where he said, "Not sure all that glitters is gold." Last year was a lot of talent, and we got away with a lot of things we maybe shouldn't have.
Offside. Hamilton number 8. That penalty we decline. The result of the play is a first down.
Dwayne Hendricks, guilty party, but see the end of the play here with Polk and Jamal Peters, and this was one of those guys that was super talented on that Toronto defense that they could get away with some things because they had athletes like that.
Yeah, no question. And, Jamal Peters talked to us about being a little fired up to play against his old team. Thought he was going to remain a Toronto Argonaut going into free agency, but happy to find a home down the road here in Hamilton.
Quick throw underneath, and O'Shea makes the grab. There's Jamal Peters and his numbers with the Toronto Argonauts. It sounded like the negotiation with the Hamilton Tiger Cats was pretty easy once he realized he wasn't going back to Toronto.
Yeah, I think the opportunity to play for a rival when things didn't work out with his former team was certainly a selling feature, but a Ticat team that has gone through some change in the secondary, some inexperience, certainly welcoming all that Peters brings to the table, an established shut-down corner in this league, playing on that boundary side.
How much would he love to get an interception here tonight? Dukes rolls to his right, throws it across his body, complete underneath. This Tavares Daniels, nice effort that time, and Kyle Wilson adds to his tackling tally on the season, but not until the Argonauts get a fresh set of downs.
Yeah, nice poised escape here from Cameron Dukes, as you're going to see him take off as he feels like that pocket is crashing down. Brandon Barlow in his face a little bit, but getting on the move, keeping his eyes downfield, still looking to make a throw as he attacks that edge.
Deonta McMahon was on that last play. He's out. He carried back in. They'll give it to Carey. And once again, first down. Going back to the running attack, trusting the right side of that offensive line. Peter Nicastro, the center. Gregor McKellar, the St. FX, the right guard. And Dion Allen, that right tackle.
As you see the follow-through on the pass fake from Cameron Dukes to hold the backside end, keep him from crashing down. On that play, quarterback and running back working together to make things happen.
Second down and 6. One of the better drives for the Argonauts in this football game. Dukes looks over the middle, complete. And Rasheed Bailey down just outside the 10-yard line, but another first down here. Not yet, goal to go. The passing attack starting to heat up.
Yeah, Kane Carey doing a nice job stepping up in protection, the offensive line. Body on body, allowing their quarterback the time he needs. Rasheed Bailey, been such a nice ad for the Argos, goes and gets it.
The Moxie that time. Just past his fingertips defensively for the black and gold, and so here comes Dukes. Goes with a stretch run outside, trying to run away from tacklers. Kadeem Carey bounces up 2, then 3. Touchdown Argos.
And a good hard run there from the Argos veteran running back. Carey's going to bounce this out to the left side, right on your screen. Makes one miss, runs through an arm tackle. The double blue had their first major of the day.
Brandon Barlow tried to chase it down from the backside, but slithering away was Kadeem Carey. Bouncing off bodies as he picked up momentum inside the 5-yard line. And Cam Dukes leads a touchdown drive to get Hamilton feeling a little bit more pressure here from the Argonauts if they could piece together a drive like that. 17-7.
Another look at Kadeem Carey's latest major.
That's why you always start here. Yeah, you fuck it up.
Get a sense of the power of the Argo running back on that one.
And of course, when you look at a body like that,
your turn now. Yes,
you assume that guy does a lot of yoga. which he actually does.
Yes, he does.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes multiple times a day.
We lost.
And he is built up. Ryan Dinwiddie told us this week, not only did we know that we needed some performance from him on the field, but we needed him to be a leader in the locker room as well. Trying to get everything they can out of Ka'Deem Carey. And when you saw the way that the musical chairs were shifting around in CFL free agency in the running back position group, you kind of went, come on. He's got to go to Toronto, right? AJ, oh, that's gone to Saskatchewan. And you got this guy going here and that guy going. He's got to go to Toronto. Well, here he is. He's in the end zone as the Argonauts, their first score of the ball game. Devon Harris returns this for Hamilton across the 20-yard line, runs into his own man, Tyshawn Blackburn, the rookie at the University of Alberta. The first downfield there to make the play as we see the Argonauts touchdown drive piece by piece.
Yeah, Ka'Deem Carey, whether he had the ball or not, playing a big role in this one. Whether it was with his pass protection or some play action passes that allowed Cameron Dukes to get on the move, and of course, finishing it off with the touchdown run.
Levi Mitchell right now, 6 of 8, 62 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. As Bo crossing route, and it is hauled in, one-hand catch over the middle. That took every bit of effort from Cameron McDonald in order to haul it in his first year at a Florida State, 6'4", 245, and needed all that frame.
Yeah, one of the ongoing themes and discussion of the Hamilton Ticats this year has been their desire to implement the tight end a little bit more. And they've had to look stateside in order to find those body types. Cam McDonald getting an opportunity here. A couple of looks in the early going tonight.
Only a gain of 4, but full value on the hand-eye that time for McDonald as Mitchell loads it up, throws a corner route, up for grabs, incomplete. It was intended for Tim White, and it'll be third down punting unit coming out. Bo talked to us this week, Dwayne, about the idea of he used to be a top-down guy. Everything was deep shot, and I'll take whatever else underneath. He said under Scott Milanovich, he's really been looking short to deep. This is one of the first times we've seen him kind of challenge the Argos defense.
Yeah, and it was interesting to hear Bo's kind of explanation of how his career has evolved over time, but feeling that part of the reason it started off that way was his ability to throw the long ball was kind of what differentiated him from the other veteran guys in Calgary when he was there. Drew Tate, Kevin Glenn. And so he sort of felt like when he got an opportunity to play, he needed to do the thing that made him different and be a little more aggressive.
This kick dribbles down to the Argonauts' 42-yard line. No yards flag. Looks like it's out. Here's Janarian Grant. Heads past the Argos sideline and a big tackle on the hair. Anti-Leach, who had the block punt earlier. Grant's up onto his feet, but it's going to make the head, the neck, and the hair not feel so great for Janarian Grant.
That's why I shaved my head.
Oh, man.
Yeah, no, that just hurts every time I see it, and I understand why it's not a penalty, but I don't really understand why it's not a penalty.
Well, it's the discussion that you and I have been having throughout this season is it's considered to be part of the uniform unless you actively target it.
Hamilton number 34, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Yeah, it makes me cringe every time.
I was about to paint the picture for everyone at home who can't see Dwayne Ford the way I can. Visibly cringing the pain of the neck getting twisted like that.
But so here's the thing to me, and I understand it's a horse collar tackle if you pull someone down by the back of their jersey. The hair isn't part of the jersey. A player makes a choice to have that hair. I get it. But the reason why it became a penalty is because it's a dangerous play, pulling someone down from basically the top of their back like that. It's about the mechanism of injury. Whether you're pulling their hair or pulling the jersey, it would be the same mechanism of injury. It's the same risk. And so that is where my concern lies with the non-penalty. And I mean, the fact is, it would be harder to grab the jersey than it is to grab the hair, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. My confusion here is that it was a long hair on long hair crime. Anti-Leach What are we doing going after the long hair? You're one of...
Yeah, you're
part
putting
of
a
the
target
crew
on yourself.
Can't be doing that. Nice to see Nick Arbuckle back at quarterback here with the Argos going over and trying to cheer up or get a laugh at Janarian Grant, reset him a little bit. As Cam Dukes, play action crossbody, rolls to his left and throws this one up for Pope, who makes the grab but out of bounds. As Cam Dukes did everything he could to complete that one, but was put into a tough spot, rolling to his left as a right-handed quarterback.
Yeah, and you see rolling to his left, his momentum's going in that way, carries the throw that way just far enough to force Mackay Polk out of bounds as he goes up and gets this one.
What a grab by Polk. I can talk about high pointing, went up and got it as Kenneth George Jr. supplied the defensive coverage. Dukes, 2nd and 10 from the Hamilton 53. Pumps right, comes back, checks it down. Flag is up as Kadeem Carey has the first down, loses his bucket at the end of the play, and will check out the flag.
And Casey Sales down there signaling penalty against Toronto. Like we'd expect any different from a Hamilton D lineman.
Well, as you say that in the rivalry
Illegal block, hands to the face. Toronto number 66. 10-yard penalty. He's 2nd down.
Flag goes against Isaiah Cage there, the left tackle. But as you say that, the rivalry's heating up. These two teams are going back and forth. I saw Hamilton Tiger Cats defensive back pretend jokingly to kick the helmet of Kadeem Carey as it came off of his head as there's Cage.
See the helmet pop off on Nick Usher. The evidence of the crime.
Hamilton in control. Cam Dukes trying to create something before half. Somehow gets that football out. As Rasheed Bailey makes the grab, and then Kenneth George Jr. flies to the football, makes a play, and we've hit the 3-minute warning here in Hamilton with the sun setting, and just an absolutely perfect night for CFL football. These two rivals go back and forth. 2:40 remaining in the first half.
Special halftime coming up because we are going to be concentrating on special teams. We're all wondering how much pain Janarian Grant was after he had a lock of his hair ripped out. So JB is going to rip out a lock of his hair at halftime.
What's that?
And then I'll let you know.
Are those extensions?
These are not.
I'm just going to tell you flat out, Jim Barker's hair is falling out on its own. It's coming out way more easily than Janarian Grant.
Whoa! Allegations. Low line drive here. Off the foot of Haggerty, skips out of bounds. Leads the CFL with 6 punts placed inside the 10-yard line. That one came up a little shy, but he does keep it away from the returners. And so now you have 2:29 left, and out comes the veteran in his 12th season out of Eastern Washington, Bo Levi Mitchell. 7 of 10, 66 yards. Nothing really explosive. Missed Tim White on that corner route in the last drive. I wonder if he can open it up to White or Shamar Bridges. Haven't said Keandre Smith's name much at all tonight. Luther Hakanavanu out there as well. From his own 18-yard line. Bo rolls right. Gets it to Tim White. And almost pulled down. Evaded the initial attempt by Benji Franklin. And Monty Dennis makes the tackle.
Yeah, Franklin started the season playing the field corner, moving over to the boundary side. Manages to get enough. The Ticat receiver there to slow him down, wait for the rest of the troops to get over.
2nd and 3. Bo calls it out at the line of scrimmage. They've checked out Stephen Dunbar Jr. alongside Luther Hakanavanu, bringing some heavier bodies. 3 receivers off the line of scrimmage here. They'll just base it up. A lot of window dressing for a straight north-south route as a flag comes up. A lot of different ways to make a simple play work. But where is the flag?
Illegal block. Hamilton number 12. 10-yard penalty. second down repeated.
So wipe out a gain of 21 because number 12 gets called for springing the play.
Yeah, we'll see where he came from and where he went to deliver the block. Tim White lined up out wide, motioning in towards the box.
Oof.
Delivering that shot to the back of Amani Dennis. And right in front of the ball carrier. Easy call.
Hard count here from Bo. They empty it out 3 by 3. Mitchell seam right open down the center. No, incomplete. Tumbling over his feet. They missed the home run. Wondered when Keandre Smith was going to get his opportunity.
You're going to see Keandre Smith right on the hash mark. The number 3 receiver on this one, and he's just running. Clearly a little miscommunication. Winton McManus alongside one of the defensive backs. Looked like each one thought the other one was going to stay with Smith down the seam. Neither one did.
The eyes of desperation you could see inside Keandre Smith's helmet that time. Wishing for an opportunity to get his hands on that football, but just a bit too far. Missed opportunity for Hamilton to add to their lead here at the end of the first half. And so now Janarian Grant tracks down this football, fumbling around with it back at his own 35. A huge flip of field position for Hamilton. Again, the special teams continue to cash in after a 55-yard punt.
Ticats getting a chance to get in a little closer on that one as Grant lets that one hit the ground off his body.
How about Sermon Bagayogo down there with Tyler Turnowski? Ron Gaucher was on the play as well. All the Canadians ripping around on specials as Mickey Donovan watches on, the Argonauts special teams coordinator, wishing he could create a little bit of energy for his offense, but doesn't do so on that opportunity. So a minute 46 remaining and a 10-point deficit. How much would this mean to the Argonauts and the Double Blue fans that have made their way down here to Hamilton if they could close this gap up further before the half?
Yeah, quick start. Some misfortune from an Argos perspective as you're essentially giving up a special teams touchdown and a defensive touchdown.
Dukes escapes. Flag comes up. Likely a holding call is going to bring this one back, but across the 55 for now goes Rasheed Bailey. It looks like Isaiah Cage is injured and down behind the play as well.
Toronto number 67. 10-yard penalty. Repeat, first down.
Meanwhile, left tackle Isaiah Cage slow to get up, but here the call on the right guard. Gregor McKellar having a little bit of trouble with his former teammate Dwayne Hendricks tonight. Hendricks beat him for a sack in the first quarter of this ball game.
Cage got rolled up on, you saw there at the end of the play, but gritting his teeth through it, stays in the huddle. No trainers came out, so he doesn't have to leave the field. Minute 38. And now backed up after the McKellar penalty. First and 20. Feels like one of those real swing moments in the ball game. Can Toronto create some energy, or can Hamilton make a big play defensively? They'll screen it out. Richie Sindani, one-on-one. Solid throw there. Talbert, who has the touchdown on the fumble recovery earlier, makes the tackle in the open field. Now Rasheed Bailey slow up onto his feet.
Oh, shit! Yeah, quick hitter here. Running that hitch screen out wide. Rasheed Bailey a little banged up. He was the man out there blocking for Sindani.
And Jamal Peters, they just run straight through him trying to get to the football, and Peters went with the tomahawk, trying to rip that one out as well.
Well, Bailey, along with Kadeem Carey, a key addition to the Argonaut offense this offseason free agency.
So one player from Toronto.
Felt like he was the type of player exactly, very similar to Kadeem Carey, that they needed to go get. Right? He was a veteran guy, leader, still give you a ton of productivity, can lean on him all year, but understandable why he's banged up here. Well, we knew Jamal Peters was going to come to play. There he pays the price that time. So after the Sindani screen catch, 2nd down and 12. Looks like a couple of Tiger Cats popped up quickly, but Sales and Nick Usher pointing towards the left side of that Argonauts offensive line.
Toronto number 62. 5-yard penalty. Repeat, 2nd down.
That one's going to go against Ryan Hunter. The other guard, the Toronto left guard. You saw the feet move a little early there. Not the first offensive lineman to get happy feet with Casey Sales lined up in front of him. Sales at 2023 league All-Star.
The Argonauts offensive line are all taking their turns. A penalty on Hunter, McKellar, Isaiah Cage, Dukes. Top down in distance here, trying to create anything. Barlow can't get there. Usher in hot pursuit. And Dukes fades this one. In behind the sideline, out of bounds. 3rd and 17. Hamilton's defense, a scrappy effort on that drive.
And nice twist on the right side of that defensive line between Sales and Brandon Barlow. Barlow comes free to supply the initial pressure. He's chasing it down from the back. The other end, Nick Usher, closing it off from the front.
Ryan Dinwiddie trying to find solutions for his offense. They'll have to wait once again, maybe until after halftime, depending on this position, as Harris grabs it just outside his 20, about a 10-yard return. And once again, Bo Levi Mitchell comes out onto the field. The halftime show coming up. Keith Burness, Enoch Mwamba, Matty Dunnigan, and Jim Barker back in studio, breaking it down for you. Taking a look around at everything that is shaped right now, a 17-7 Ticats lead.
Again, Ticats' efforts tonight with this lead very much aided by phases of the game other than offense.
Mitchell looking on a corner, a little double move, it looks like this time for Keandre Smith. There he goes, gets his hands on the football, was waiting for that one. And right at the 55, Smith has a 1st down for the block and goal.
Yeah, timely connection there from Mitchell to Smith. Keandre had biggest game of his career against Toronto last season.
Royce Mechie on that play. The 1st and 10, right at midfield. Mitchell feels the heat, has to get rid of it. Jake Ceresna was coming, and Bo didn't have a chance to get his feet set that time to get it to Keandre once again.
And we know Jake Ceresna right on the nose. Man, brought in from Edmonton to help bolster the interior of that offensive line. Dwayne Hendricks moving on from that position, moving to Hamilton in free agency.
When you block that guy, 2 or 3 bodies, still couldn't get it done. Now Mitchell rips it out. Stephen Dunbar Jr. puts the shoulder down. Great effort to get the 1st down.
Yeah, no dancing involved there. Dunbar out wide, top of your screen. Catches this one just short of the 1st down marker. You'll see as the tacklers come up. Could try to dance and avoid, but he's just going to run through them. Sacrificing his pants to get the 1st down for his team.
A new go-to catchphrase is born for Dwayne Ford, but Priester slow to get up after Dunbar put his shoulder down on that play. So the Argonauts training staff out to attend to him with 36 seconds remaining in this 1st half. never love seeing that when the training staff is working on the backside of the neck and making sure, communicating with Priester that he can roll over onto his backside before they make any kind of movement. Good to see he is rolling onto his opposite side.
Yeah, Priester just returning to the Argos a couple weeks ago after the injury to Quincy Mauger. Toronto brings back a familiar face and a veteran guy to fill that nickel or Sam linebacker position.
And a tough player too, right? You think about kind of that nickel, that extra defensive back spot. He's 5'9", 180.
Yeah.
Taking on Stephen Dunbar at 6'3", 200. Like, he's 20 pounds down, or 5'6" inches smaller than Dunbar Jr. So easy equation there on who is going to be the hammer and who is going to be the nail. Good to see Priester out as Mitchell looks down the middle of the field for DeAndre Smith. In a battle! Incomplete! What a play by Tyshawn Blackburn, who steps in immediately for Priester. And the third-round pick from this year's draft, 27th overall, got just enough of this one.
And Mitchell getting good protection, steps up, and nice adjustment to the football here by DeAndre Smith to go after this one. But an even better defensive play, as you mentioned, by the former Alberta Golden Bear, Tyshawn Blackburn.
So Mitchell was 2nd and 10. Quicker release this time, and it is intercepted. And the streak of consecutive passing attempts without an interception is done for Bo. He was up over 100 straight without throwing a pick. That one, well, it's not really on 19. Through the hands of Luther Hakanavanu. And Toronto takes advantage.
Yeah, Mitchell looking to push this one down the field a little bit. You see Hakanavanu working towards the inside. Ball's just behind him. He's unable to get his body positioned to catch this one. Deflects off the hands, through the hands, and into the waiting arms of Deshaun Amos.
Amos had eyes for an even bigger return. Hamilton able to bring him down at the Argonauts' 38-yard line. 13 seconds remain. Deontay McMahon in the ball game and fading it down the sideline. Guess who goes up and gets it? DeMonte Coxie.
Well, we alluded earlier to Toronto picking their spots a little bit in terms of the deep ball. No element of surprise to this one. If they want to get points, they got to push the ball here. And this is just Cameron Dukes having faith in his receiver, DeMonte Coxie, to go get a 50-50 ball. Excellent effort from number 86 to haul that one in.
David Unger loved it in the background of that shot on the Argonauts sideline. Not in a uniform tonight, but cheering on his receiving teammate. And flash, was it Samuel Emelis that made a grab like that for the win against Calgary last season? Just kind of reminiscent, right, of defenders standing still, just a body flying through the air to go get it. What a play by Coxie. So they send out the field goal unit. Liram Hairolahu from 42 yards away lines it up and misses it. So now Hamilton returns it. Harris gets it out of the end zone, and that will do it for an entertaining first half of football here in Hamilton. The former Ticat, Liram Hairolahu, couldn't knock it down.
Yeah, after the big catch by Coxie, sets up this opportunity to turn this into a one-score game going in at the break. Hairolahu just wide left. Smoke Harris, the returner, recognizing the situation. Insult to injury there for the Argo kicker.
I'm only laughing because you and I were in Montreal last week and we saw Dylan Wynn getting into it with Liram Hairolahu.
Caloric nature.
Well, I was going to say this is kind of empty calories right now for the Toronto Argonauts because it feels like you've got a lot going for you in this ball game, but just 7 points to show for it. So Mark Leggio will open the proceedings here in the second half. And Toronto gets first touch with a 10-point deficit to the Tiger Cats. Janarian Grant with one less piece of hair from the first half. Returns it out across the 40 as the Argonauts running game behind Ryan Hunter. Certainly a big factor in this one, and Kadeem Carey is the engine.
Yeah, and the thing that stands out when you go back to those halftime stats is the Toronto Argonauts basically doubling up the Hamilton Tiger Cats in terms of time of possession. They've moved the football. They've been able to keep drives going, obviously running as opposed to throwing the ball a lot, making big chunk plays. They're eating up that time very effectively, but not making the most of their opportunities, whereas Hamilton, very little time of possession, but making big play on defense, fumble return for a touchdown, big play on special teams, block punt in Toronto territory that sets up a touchdown.
As Carey gets underway here in the second half, tries to reach the edge, but it's pulled down. No, he keeps going. Drives the legs through contact. It took about 4 or 5 Hamilton Tiger Cats to finally bring down Kadeem Carey. I was about to say, he is kind of churning the legs and driving the energy through this offense. Only 40 yards, but this is the type of running that just wears down the defense.
Yeah, in terms of duration, one of the longest 12 or 15-yard runs you're going to see is he is not just breaking tackles, but fighting through tackles to stay alive, move the sticks for his team. Great effort there from number 25.
Cam Dukes with 4 receivers to his left will roll that direction. Flips it out to the flats, and Danny makes the grab, pushed out of bounds at the 43-yard line.
Yeah, Richie Sindani proving to be a valuable late season 2023 pickup for the Toronto Argonauts. Brought in last year down the stretch at a time when the Argos were starting 3 Canadian receivers. He had spent most of the season with Hamilton after starting his career in Calgary. Argos brought him in as a depth guy, and now Curly Gittins having moved on. David Unger and Tommy Neal, Dejean Brissett all on the injured list. Sindani being relied on a little bit here now.
Deonta McMahon into the backfield, and on 2nd and a yard, they decide not to go with the short yard sneak. Wonder how much of that had to deal with the fumble that happened in the first half from Cam Dukes in short yards. They give it to the undersized but powerfully running Deonta McMahon.
Yeah, and just staying in a bit of a standard offensive set as opposed to loading up with the big bodies. Forces Hamilton to line up a little differently. Looser in terms of the gaps there. McMahon takes advantage of that.
This time they fake to Carey, flip it out to McMahon, and I say undersized, he wishes he had a couple more inches on those arms on that one. Incomplete.
Yeah, again, we saw this on a sideline throw earlier with Dukes rolling to his left, and that momentum on the throw. It's just a little too much for the back McMahon to handle.
And for a guy who completed 80% of his passes last week, that has been a rarity to miss throws like that. So Dukes leaves himself with a lot of work to do here. 2nd and 10 from the Hamilton 39. Flips it out quickly behind the line of scrimmage. McMahon makes the grab and jumps forward, but only picks up about 3 yards on the play. So again, Toronto super conservative here, and they'll lean on Liram Hairolahu, the kicker.
I know he didn't fire, he was just cooking.
And Hairolahu had that 42-yard miss at the end of the first half that would have made this a 1-score ball game to start the 3rd quarter. Looking for a little bit of redemption here.
They'll come from 43 yards away. Hairolahu missed one at the end of the first half. This one is true. Down the middle, Liram back on the board, and it's a 1-score game here in Hamilton. Squaring up the laces and hammering it through the uprights. Toronto's won 6 in a row and 10 of 11 over to Hamilton, Bo Levi Mitchell, and what he's been up to so far throughout this evening. Not a lot of numbers to show for it. It hasn't really been the explosive yardage that we've seen from Bo through the first 5 games.
But the Ticats have the lead.
Right?
Yeah, a little bit of a different look as the Ticats aren't chasing this one, not necessarily forced to be so aggressive in having Bo throw the ball. He's had a couple of deep looks, but veteran hasn't really been forced out of his comfort zone, so to speak, in this one either.
92 and 34 career, but 0-7 in his last 7 games started for Hamilton, including this 0-5 beginning to 2024. He's tracking down the backside that time. Robbie Smith from his defensive line position brings down James Butler.
And you'll see Cameron McDonald, the tight end, in on the left side on this one. Ticats looking to add a gap basically for the Argos to defend, flatten out that defense a little bit. Toronto doing a pretty good job flowing to the football there.
Bit of a muddle huddle here from the Tiger Cats as Scott Milanovic mixing it up. Everyone gets to the line, stands around, Bo signals it in. Snap comes up from David Beard, and Bo throws a slant incomplete. Keandre Smith, the intended receiver, is Jonathan Edward out of Carleton there on the coverage.
Yeah, Edward, who had been a game time decision, starting the last couple games at that field corner spot for the Toronto Argonauts. Mentioned he's a guy who finished up his college career at Carleton, started off at Henderson State, south of the border, actually an American from Florida, but qualifies as a national by virtue of his years played in youth sports football.
Constantino ready to send this one away. Arian Grant still waiting to have that marquee explosive moment that he had each of the last 2 weeks with a return touchdown. As he sneaks through the middle and then runs into a wall of tacklers on this one. There's Hamilton 0-5. Worst start since they were 0-8 in 2017, but that stadium right there would light up if they get a victory. Final major of the season, the 152nd Open Championship from Royal Troon. Catch the final round tomorrow morning at 7 Eastern, 4 a.m. Pacific on TSN. Golf.
Way to set the tone.
Yeah. Played my first holes of the year last weekend.
That's a British Open cap right there.
It is. In case you're wondering, I was terrible. First and 10. Inside handoff once again. The north-south running game of these Argonauts, specifically on first down, starting to take hold. And it feels like they're climbing their way back into this one, down only 7. And using Kadeem Carey just like this time after time.
Yeah, and I appreciate the patience of the Toronto Argonauts to stay with the ground and pound here. Again, you feel like because it's been these big plays that have gone against them, like they almost as if they're down by more than they are. But the fact is, 7-point game, quarter and a half to go. I think Kadeem Carey in that run game are, over time, going to have a physical impact. Go back to that time of possession that we talked about earlier. That's going to impact the Hamilton defense.
I'll tell you what, Hamilton might have found somebody in Destin Talbert here, Dwayne.
Yeah, Talbert, a guy who started the season off playing that nickel backer spot, which is a tough ask for a first-year CFL player. Sometimes a box guy, sometimes in coverage. You've got motion coming at you, so many adjustments to be made over on that wide side of the field. He's moved to the boundary half now.
As Harris goes for an adventure back at his 15 and makes up for it. Nothing makes you run faster than dropping the initial catch. As Harris with a solid return.
I can do this with my eyes closed.
Dwayne, you like that last one?
Not bad.
Dwayne's my music guy. I go to him for all my Spotify suggestions. Tiger Cats football, 1st and 10 from their own 28. Mitchell fades right, looks back left. 3 receivers there, and a nice completion to Keandre Smith in front of Benji Franklin. Different looking concept this time from the Tiger Cats offense.
Here you're going to see Keandre Smith working out of the slot. Watch him push down the sideline as the defender is scrambling to catch up. Little comeback. Easy completion for a first down pickup.
Slide the pocket a little bit. Get Bo into a rhythm as he throws a strike on that one to Smith. Bo now up to 123 passing yards. As they split, McDonald, the tight end, out wide. They'll throw a quick screen to James Butler. Spins away from Winton McManus. Tries to spin back again, but Parrish is there to bring him down.
And Derek Parrish continues to flash every so often as he's getting an opportunity to get some more snaps. As an edge rusher here for the Argos in the absence of the injured Folarin Orumalade, University of Houston product.
And a little bit of that get to the line of scrimmage, wait it out, let Bo see what the defense is giving him. They rush 5. Mitchell stands in, throws into traffic, tries the back shoulder. Did that get completed? Man, that was a tight window. Stephen Dunbar Jr. He went back shoulder on one defender, but had to fit it in behind another that was trailing.
Yeah, watch Dunbar venture into traffic here. Starts to work up the seam just as Blackburn, continuing in place of Robert Priester, comes over from the inside to sort of close that window on Bo. Forced to thread the needle.
Well, filed that one under throws that only a veteran quarterback would even attempt. James tucked the fullback in motion. They'll hand it off. James Butler thinks Tyshawn Blackburn miss, and Fraser Sopik needs some help in order to finally bring Butler down. Kadeen Carey and James Butler, a couple running backs from the West that weren't wanted by their clubs, make their way east and are battling with downhill runs tonight.
Yeah, two of the best going head-to-head here. James Butler showing some of his dance moves there.
For the first time tonight, we see it's like Andy Litre come in, because he'll go under center in short yardage. Had the blocked punt earlier on, and Winton McManus trying to drag him backwards just a little bit as the toothpick in on yet another play.
Offside, Toronto number 99. 5-yard penalty. Result will be a first down.
Ralph Hawley looks like lined up offside. His defensive tackle position is, they deem he was inside that yard.
As you see, Litre getting it done, helping out any way possible.
Mitchell with a tight end to the right. 4 receivers out, goes back to the ground game. Butler sticks his foot in the ground, cuts across the 30, bounces off 2 tacklers, and rolls down for a first down on the ground. A gain of 11.
Yeah, terrific cutback here by James Butler. You're going to get a feel for the vision here as the D-line starts flowing hard to the front side. Butler bends it back, moves the sticks. Argo defender, I think it was Parrish, went down on the play.
And Hamilton with 2 second down conversions on this drive, only 1 up to this point before this drive, as Kevin Iben, co-defensive coordinator, calling it in from the sideline. Looks like Teodric Hansen is going to check in for Derek Parrish when he makes his way to the sideline. But great conversation with Kevin Iben, who has made his way around, was working as a defensive coach here in Hamilton at McMaster in his past, as Parrish is up onto his feet and jogs off. But U of T, variety of different places, working special teams. And here he is calling the shots at Tim Hortons Field on a Saturday night.
A great part of that conversation, discussion about his deployment of Canadians at unique positions, right? We talked about Edouard and National playing the corner spot, but as well, Fraser Sopik. A little bit like Kevin Ivan, a guy seen as an undersized Canadian linebacker, getting an opportunity to play a lot at the Will Backer spot here.
Yeah, you make plays, you get on the field for Kevin Ivan. He knows that as well as anybody is run to the left-hand side, but you actually asked him about did his personal playing experience factor into his coaching perspective?
Yeah, and I mean, he was a guy, he and Mike O'Shea, two Canadians playing in the same linebacking core in Toronto for a number of years, both highly productive guys during that time. Talked about, the fact that Rich Stubler gave him an opportunity. If he earned the job, he kept the job, and that was the deal. And it's, neat to see a little bit trend-wise now. Look at BC starting 3 Canadian linebackers. First time it's happened in this league in 25 years.
Levi Mitchell on 2nd and 7. Rolls to his right, incomplete. Argonauts, the intended receiver, Edouard right there on cue in coverage. And 3rd down and 7. And that one feels like a missed opportunity for the Hamilton offense as they'll try to go for 3.
Yeah, one of their best drives of the night in terms of sustaining it, running the football effectively, moving the rock. Argonauts maybe fighting confidence a little bit right now.
Yeah. And that tough drop earlier on that turned into the Deshaun Amos interception. So Mark Leggio back out to kick this one from 28 yards away. 4 minutes remaining here in the 3rd. And Leggio knocks it through. Doubling them up. 20-10 is your score. Plenty more football to be played between these two teams, as 40 teams have begun 0-5. Only 4 have made the playoffs. The Ticats try to do that this season. For the Tiger Cats, even more creative play naming. Here's Scott Milanovic.
It's a play that he used to run quite a bit when he was in Winnipeg. It was the first time that I had ever seen it. I didn't really know the play, and then when I went to Indianapolis, it was one of our staples. So I learned to play a little bit. I always liked it, and we named that one after Lapo.
Well, if they run it and it doesn't work, I'm not going to mention it at all, guys. Only if it works. But the hardest thing as an offensive coordinator sometimes is giving play call names. So really nice that I got a name. I had a Rod Smith and I had a Chris Schultz back in the day.
Love it. Cam Dukes, quick screen. They try to get Jerry Grant the football, double catches it, but plunges forward for a gain of about 7. I just feel bad for anybody who was in a training camp or a playbook meeting, and they say, okay, guys, this is, and everyone's going, what the heck is a Lapo?
Yeah, we have something we call a Lapo, but it means something totally different. You don't want to know, Paul.
Crushing the sidelines. That's what the Lapo is.
Yeah, it's probably crazy. The young guys must be like, why are they naming a play after a sideline reporter?
Much more than that. Cam Dukes, 2nd and 3 from the gun. Won't even look to hand it off. Pass the whole way. Now he has to create with his feet. Escapes to the left. Pumps. Reaches the football out. He needed to get to the 50. And they'll spot him at the 48.
Yeah, Dukes again. Using his legs to keep this play alive. Just short of being in gambling range here, though. The Argos are going to send out John Haggerty in the punt unit. It's like 3rd and a full 2.
So back once again goes Harris. Who appears to have a signature on the top of the 8 on his uniform. I wonder if he signed his own jersey. Maybe it'll be a piece of memorabilia if he returns one to the house here tonight, as Harris tries to track this down, and Haggerty lets it bounce and kick out of bounds at the 14-yard line. As Haggerty in the special teams unit trying to pin the Hamilton Tiger Cats offense as they lead by 10 late in the third.
Consecutive seasons. The return game is a very strange position. Sometimes when you have an injury to your starter, you bring guys up because the personnel guys want a guy in there. Well, Janarian came up for us, and like, he doesn't talk a lot, so he was in my receiver meetings, and I remember at the end of the week going, hey, Osh, who's going to return for us this week? And he's like, Janarian Grant. And I'm like, the guy in the back of the room who doesn't talk at all? Like, I barely knew his name. And then what did he do? He had 2 return touchdowns against the Calgary Stampeders for us, helped us win a game in Winnipeg in 2019.
Amazing.
You know his name now, don't you, Lapo?
Can't get away from him. As this one completed to James Butler. A little bit of running room, breaks another tackle, and Butler starts his engine and is off to the races across midfield and pushed out of bounds. But a simple little swing. We've seen so many of these, and so hard to break the wall defensively, but on about the 15th attempt at or near the line of scrimmage, all of a sudden, boom.
Yeah, a couple of Argo defenders get hands on Butler, but no one able to get enough of him to even slow him down. I talked about James Butler at the start of this game as the most important element of the Hamilton Tiger Cats offense. He demonstrates why there. Doing that coming off a game in which he had over 100 receiving yards. Turns in a big play and tilts the field for the black and gold.
And Ryan Dinwiddie walking across the field to see an injured Argonaut that's down behind the play. Haven't been able to see a number as of yet. Well, certainly somebody involved on that side of the play.
Bearing in mind that the Argos have already lost their starting nickel linebacker, Robert Priester, in this ball game. Got to imagine this is putting a bit of a strain on their secondary.
It looks like that's Jonathan Edward. He's holding a wrist or a bottom of his arm. Gives the thumbs up to the bench, but he's going to need some assistance. And doesn't look like Edward is likely to return for the remainder of this one if that arm isn't working properly. So 2:15 remaining, and again they have to shift around their defensive backfield, and Ryan Dinwiddie trying to find solutions. One of the players that's been really good for them when asked to step into the lineup. He was banged up earlier on already this season, but Mason Pierce, you see there, 28.
Yeah, Pierce, who had been a starter since partway through last season at halfback. A little bit of shuffling of the deck. Amani Dennis came on for him a couple games ago at that spot, but Pierce is now going to check in at the field corner.
Well, 5'10", 185 lined up across from that 6'3" frame of Stephen Dunbar. So we'll see if Hamilton tries to target Pierce early on. It's over the middle of the field. And it looked like Tim White fought it, flipping that one backwards to Stephen Dunbar, who is standing all alone a couple yards back, but he gets wrapped up after another nice chunk play for the Tiger Cats offense.
There's Tim White going to work across the middle of this Toronto defense. You see him just bending it in between levels, gets behind the linebackers in front of the defensive back, making an easy completion for the veteran quarterback Mitchell.
Gain of 21 yards on the play. Amani Dennis made the tackle that time. And Bo with a 10-point lead nearing the final minute of the third quarter. Looks to his right, seamlessly flips this one out. And haven't set his knee much tonight, but Shamar Bridges, 5th in the CFL in receiving, coming into tonight with 396 yards. It'll be a gain of about 4, 2nd and 6.
And thought there might have been an opportunity here for Keandre Smith, who comes out as the number 3 receiver. You see him right down the hash mark. But Bo, with that pocket closing down in his face, has to get the ball out a little more quickly than that.
Bridges and Tim White to the right of Bo Levi Mitchell. Keandre Smith, Luther Hakanabanu, and Stephen Dunbar to his left. He looks left, push that underneath. Blown coverage, Argonauts made the catch, spins back, reaches. Touchdown, Tiger Cats. Argonauts adds to the Hamilton advantage. After giving up an interception earlier with one that bounced off his hands, and a back foot to boot.
Big one here for Argonauts. You're going to see pressure come from the left side. Butler starts off left, then goes right. But a man comes free in that blitz package. But Mitchell, veteran quarterback, recognizes it, gets the ball out quickly. Big one there.
Well, for an 0-5 club, biggest thing that jumps out to me watching that, every single offensive lineman first there on the scene to celebrate in the end zone. That typically isn't something that you see from a club that hasn't made their way into the win column at all so far this season. It was a quick drive, just a little over 220, 95 yards from the right hand of Bo Levi Mitchell into the waiting arms of his former Stampeders teammate, Luther Argonauts. In column, a 17-point lead here heading to the fourth and final quarter. And again, the passing yards jump out more than anything there after a big third quarter and the offense getting their hold. But this is, at this point, Dwayne, about just finding a way to close this thing out and charge up this stadium.
Yeah, exactly. And they've done a pretty good job of it, coming up with big plays when they needed it in the third quarter. And also doing a pretty good job running the ball. It seemed like James Butler got in a little bit of a flow in that third quarter. They're going to need him to be a big part of it in protecting this lead in the fourth.
And just like we've seen through much of the CFL this year, and really in the East, it's the running backs catching the ball out of the backfield that show up as passing yards. But they are all about just running back usage and finding creative ways to get them touches. We'll see how creative Toronto is, trying to rally around their big victory in Montreal last week and follow it up by beating Hamilton. As we begin the fourth after the Argonauts touchdown with a return by Janarian Grant, but it was a pretty seamless effort from the Hamilton offense, and this big explosive play from Butler made all the difference.
Well, it's nice when you can throw a high percentage pass like a little swing route to your running back and have that turn into an explosion play, courtesy of James Butler. And Luther Argonauts with touchdown catch in his second consecutive game, getting a little more opportunity to play in this Hamilton offense as well.
Red Moon at night, still. Rolls to his left. Nice little move from Dukes all the way out to the 45. Should be about an 8 or 9 yard gain. See where they spot it, but again, using his legs as there's a flag down behind the play. The elusive quicks of Cameron Dukes on display, but frustration for the Argonauts.
There's no flag on the play.
And they wave it off after taking a quick look at it. I was about to say that there's been a lot of very Hamilton Tiger Cats type of penalties by the Argonauts, shooting themselves in the foot, backing themselves up in bad downs and distances. But that one they wave off, despite the fact that there were a series of those in the first half. Hamilton, for the most part, has gotten away from that tonight to their advantage here as Kadeem Carey wrapped up and tackled Kyle Wilson.
And Kyle Wilson having a pretty good night from his linebacker spot. This is a guy who spent the first few years of his career primarily backing up Simone Lawrence at the weak side linebacker spot, playing as a designated American, meaning he's playing a lot on special teams, occasionally getting some snaps on D.
Washington lets it up in the booth as Dukes looking to throw pressure on, shovels it underneath, pays the price, gets hit as he released it, as Nick Usher got one in. I'm not even sure Usher knew that the football was no longer in Duke's hand there, but regardless, incomplete.
Keep an eye on Nick Usher coming from his defensive end spot. Lyon.
Well, the one that's interesting to me as well is Deontay Knight is on the field right now, the former Western Mustang. Started the year with Toronto, drafted by the Argos, but here he is in Hamilton, lined up at defensive tackle. As Dukes looks to throw over the middle, complete Richie Sindani. He's got to get to the Hamilton 54. They'll signal first down, paid the price, but got the yardage needed.
Yeah, I appreciate the awareness of Sindani on this one. Knowing that he couldn't bend this back, couldn't try to avoid anyone. Nice completion underneath and just ducks his head to get that first down yardage.
Dukes, quick slant. As Mackay Polk makes the grab on the Tiger Cats logo. We'll spot him at about the 47. And with 12 minutes and change remaining, Toronto starting to pick up the pace here, down by 17.
Got to churn out a few more plays given the time. The alternative.
Underneath. Tavares Daniels and another first down. You were saying, Dwayne, yeah, they're trying to up the rate, right?
Well, that's it, and it's got to be either the rate or deeper attempts, right? And that's not their MO.
Yeah.
So they go into more of a tempo offense, trailing by 3 scores here.
As whistles blow, and trainers run off the sideline, and we have something from the Tiger Cats coaching staff, a challenge from Scott Milanovich, and what could he be challenging?
Hamilton is challenging that there was blocking downfield on the play before the pass was caught. We'll review the play.
And Milanovich, I guess, seeing that the pass wasn't completed behind the original line of scrimmage, and believing there was blocking downfield before the pass was completed. Take a quick look at it here. Yeah, probably Demonte Coxie.
Yeah, that.
So Coxie down the field, blocking before it was completed. Scott Milanovich's coaching staff caught it up top. We'll take a look at it back in the command center with Dave Fox. Taking a look here at the legal block downfield. Scott Milanovich, the Hamilton Tiger Cats, challenging, believing there was an illegal block. What do you got, Dwayne?
Yeah, you're going to keep an eye out wide. Top matchup on your screen is Coxie and Jamal Peters.
It feels like a bit of a reach maybe on that one, but
yeah, both.
We'll hear what the command center has determined.
After review by the command center, the ruling on the field stands. Be first down.
And you had that ball thrown behind the line of scrimmage, a screen pass, but I think even timing-wise, regardless of when the block came, I think they would have been clear on that one.
So we move on. The Argonauts in possession. Dukes looks over the middle of the field, goes out wide, and it's Janarian Grant. And again, Jamal Peters. Don't often say this about defensive backs, but easily the most physical player on the field here tonight.
Yeah, bringing a little something extra to every tackle tonight. Peters exploding into that hit.
And another whistle from the Tiger Cats sidelines. It looks like they're just resetting the football here. And they'll play 2nd down and 4 as Peters at the top of your screen. Again, lines up across from Janarian Grant. Deontay McMahon in the backfield with Cam Dukes. Pressure on, and down goes Dukes. TQ Thomas gets the sack.
Middle linebacker. Thomas, the man who comes up with the play here. Coming right from the top right corner of your screen, just times it up, hits that gap unblocked. A big defensive play there for Aquarius Juwan Thomas. High school teammate of DeKalin Zacharias Metcalf, better known as DK. Oxford High School in Mississippi.
He of the Skittles and black coffee diet.
Yes.
And somehow one of the best bodies in the NFL on that diet. The crowd gets into it.
Time count violation. Toronto number 29. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
And the Argonauts volunteer a couple yards back. Mickey Donovan telling his special teams unit to relax as they will send back a two-man return here for the Tiger Cats. Tim White will step back alongside Devon Harris.
And the desire here, cover the field so you can catch the ball in the air. Don't let John Haggerty get it on the ground. But it finds a way anyway.
He rumbles this one, and it bounces through the end zone. And so tag it on. The Argonauts bump themselves up to 11th. Haggerty's so good at pinning inside the 10 so far this season. Unable to do it there, but the defense stepping up big for Hamilton, trying to find a way to win in the Hammer. CFL stadiums in as short a period as possible. Chris Timofchuk trying to knock them all down. Dwayne, are you going to join for the journey?
I wish. Yeah, he's already impressed the hell out of me. I've been at this for 7 weeks. I've only been to 3 stadiums this year.
East Coast living. As Bo Levi Mitchell making his way east from Calgary. A long tenured career with the Stamps and trying to get the Tiger Cats into the win column here. Leaning on James Butler to help him get it done as JB9 fires up the black and gold sideline once again.
Yeah, no question, James Butler has become not just a heart and soul guy, but a leader on this Hamilton Tiger Cat team. We talked to him a few weeks ago, and he talked about the fact that, you know, the core has kind of turned over a little bit over these last couple of years, where last year guys like Simone Lawrence, Ted Laurent, longtime Tiger Cats were still here. Certainly great teammates, but now sort of like the team is under new leadership, and that's still developing.
You know, Bo Levi Mitchell's locked in on what he's doing. Doesn't even have his chin strapped up. Just trying to figure out the next play call, which on 2nd and 3 was a handoff and a minimal gain. As Coulter Woodmansey mixes it up behind the play. Brandon Revenberg helps his running back up onto his feet. It's hard to imagine that Rev, already his 8th year in the Canadian Football League, blocking at that left guard spot.
Yeah, Revenberg up to 2nd level on that one, getting after Jonathan Jones.
And you see James Butler's numbers on the night. Scott Milanovic goes for a walk, checks in with his running back to see if he's all right. They won't go for it here with the 16-point lead. 8:44 remaining in the 4th and final quarter. So Constantino will kick it away, squaring himself up into the boundary, playing games with Janarian Grant. Nope, he'll go there. And Grant will attempt to catch it clean at his own 15. He does. Heads for the field side, and it gets turned back in. It goes backwards 5 yards after a 46-yard punt. And just like the night began, the special teams of the Hamilton Tiger Cats making a large difference in the outcome of this one.
And you got the sense that the Hamilton Tiger Cats cover unit was anticipating with the Argos in need of a big return that they were going to try and go wide side. They had that covered well, and with that slowing Grant down as he's trying to get out wide, Carthel Flowers Lloyd runs it down from the back.
And what do we have here?
Little Nick Arbuckle into the game at quarterback, the veteran. Formerly Bo Levi Mitchell's backup in Calgary.
Arbuckle with his first attempt, rips a curl route. DeMonte Coxie tucks it away and refuses to go down. Oh, Arbuckle into the ball game.
And perhaps feeling with the veteran in there at a time when they need to be a little bit more aggressive. This is more within the wheelhouse of Arbuckle.
Arbuckle rips it out. Looks like he's fast friends with DeMonte Coxie, who all of a sudden breaks 3 tackles and is down at the 45.
And still plenty of time left in this ball game, and what felt like a fairly innocuous single point on the punt by John Haggerty makes it a two-possession game, and the Argos looking like they could threaten here.
24-yard gain that time to Coxie. Why not go back to the well? And he refuses to go down yet again. Coxie can't be stopped all of a sudden. You think of him as a jump ball guy, a deep ball receiver, but yards after catch, he adds 17 to the total.
And you wonder, with some of the tackles being missed here by the Hamilton defense, if some of the fatigue of the Argos' physical run game through three quarters is having an effect.
Arbuckle rips it. Mackay Polk. 4 for 4 off the bench cold for Nick Arbuckle. Deep into Hamilton territory. That one for 14.
Yeah, Polk is just going to bend this one in. Timing route. Nice delivery from Arbuckle. Good extension from the receiver. Sticks move again.
Fast and furious work from number 4. Arbuckle stands in, checks it down. Daniel Adebaboye makes one man miss. It was Kyle Wilson, then bounces up 2 and 3. And all of a sudden, the Hamilton Tiger Cats defense is absolutely reeling.
A terrific drive being put together here by Nick Arbuckle and the Toronto Argonaut offense. Adebaboye showing off his shakes there.
What a drive from Arbuckle, but it won't mean anything unless they can cash in. He pumps to the left, comes back to the right. Is that backwards? There's no whistle.
They're going to let it play out.
If that's backwards, this is the longest celebratory wave to the Argos bench for a Richard Leonard house call. Fireworks go off. Ticats fans celebrate.
Yeah, no doubt they'll review this one.
After review by the command center, we have an incomplete pass.
Burned the fireworks budget for nothing.
Yeah, I mean, this play took long enough that the command center was able to start reviewing as the play was going on. You see, Arbuckle throws that one from the 25-yard line.
Well, full credit to replay official Dave Foxcroft in a time where people are constantly saying these reviews take too long. What's going on? He was done reviewing it before the play was even done. It was done and dusted, but man, was that ever close to being a Tiger Cats touchdown that would have completely wiped out all of a sudden incredible momentum for the Argonauts.
And I'll tell you what my strategy would be right now if I'm Toronto, because none of the Argos chased Richard Leonard. Nobody on Toronto is tired. I'd go right after Leonard here after he just made that like 80, 90, or 90-yard run.
Well, the question now is Leonard even tired because he essentially speed walked to the end zone. So we'll see where they decide to go with it. But it was first down, first down, first down, first down. Second down conversion. Does Arbuckle have that up his sleeve? Let's find out. Pressure on, sidearms it. Oh, almost intercepted, incomplete. Trying to get it to Tavares Daniels, who sticks around to have a conversation alongside Kyle Wilson. And Ben Chapdelaine tells those two they've had enough of a conversation. Head back to your huddle, 3rd and 10. Argos offense stays on the field. Once again.
Offside. Hamilton 96. A penalty be declined. The result of the play is a touchdown.
And the touchdown stands. Unbelievable work from Nick Arbuckle to jump off the bench for Cameron Dukes. drives down the field, throws a touchdown pass, and pays the price.
Yeah, stands in here. For this one, Deontay Knight, his former teammate, showing no love there as he buries the Argo quarterback, but Arbuckle gets the last laugh with the touchdown pass to Devaris Daniels.
And the Argonauts will go for 2 here. And think about all the time that Ryan Dinwiddie spent with Nick Arbuckle in Calgary, the connections with Bo Levi and Mitchell when Arbuckle was Mitchell's backup in Calgary. They're matched up here. Might go down to the wire. Going for 2. Arbuckle fades it up high. And it'll be incomplete. Intended for Devaris Daniels. A uniquely Ticats Argos twist in events. It's not Labor Day yet, but the urgency and intensity ratcheted up as Nick Arbuckle into the game and Devaris Daniels into the end zone. Oh, you gotta love the CFL. We haven't seen Nick Arbuckle this year. He ends up coming in out of nowhere, 99 yards, just over 3 minutes, and the Argonauts have life here in the 4th quarter.
This drive went down the way they needed it to, very quickly, very efficiently, and ending with a touchdown. All that was missing was the 2-point convert, which leaves us as a 2-possession ball game.
Devaris Daniels, as cool as ever in his office, getting the major for the Argonauts. So 27-17. Liram Haralahu drills this one. Looked like he almost tried to split the returners. And it will be Harris across the 30. Stutters his feet. Daniel Adebaboy is not going to let him out of those grips. And down around the 30-yard line. As Ryan Dinwiddie in the history of Calgary quarterbacking, a long-standing weaving history of Dinwiddie's work and some of these numbers. I mean, the consistency is great, but the touchdown to interception ratios and the guys that have gone through the system and the things that Dave Dickinson has done, it's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, an impressive room, right? When you think about the group of people together in Calgary, starting with John Huffnagel, now the team president, but had been the general manager and head coach, longtime former quarterback. Dave Dickinson as head coach, Ryan Dinwiddie, Mark Mueller, all former quarterbacks. And then you throw Bo Levi Mitchell into the mix.
Oh, Royce Mechie just tosses James Tuck, the fullback, out of bounds. And you know who the offensive assistant is for the Argonauts this year as well? That's some guy named Drew Tate.
Yeah, not a bad collection.
A gain of 12 for James Tuck here. And a little game of leverage right there from Royce Mechie. Outmatched size-wise, but tosses Tuck. And the Hamilton offense, Bo Levi Mitchell, happy to drain the play clock as much as possible here. Now motion Keandre Smith and Tim White. Inside handoff, James Butler. And it'll leave Bo lots of work to do on 2nd and long.
Timeout, Toronto.
Argonauts, no doubt, anticipating first down run at this stage of the ball game. And that time they were ready for the Butler.
Dinwiddie just hoping he gets the football back as quickly as possible. You know, he's looking at the play sheet and theorizing, hypothesizing. What are we going to run? How are we going to do this with Nick? Can we possibly get the ball back in decent field position? And that man, Bo Levi Mitchell, trying to close out this ball game and break that young man's heart.
That's a secondary goal.
Right, yeah. The winning would be the most important.
Yes.
So max protection for Bo. Pressure on. He steps out and still brought down Jake Serezna. So the Toronto defense on 2nd and 9 gets a sack. And now Janarian Grant looms large, waiting for the punt.
And here you see Jake Serezna, great get off from his D tackle position, straight bull rush against Coulter Wood-Manzi. Collapsing that pocket, finishing with the sack.
And of course, as you expect from a 6'5", 291-pound defensive tackle, a casual and athletic barrel roll. That makes him look like he's 6 foot 180. That he is not. Janarian Grant stands at his own 22-yard line. Constantino, beautiful spiraling boot, will drive Grant back 7 yards to his own 15. Shakes one man, makes another miss. He's off to the races. Nobody will catch him. 20, 10, 5. Touchdown Argos, right back into the ball game. He loomed large and he delivered.
Janarian Grant. Just a phenomenal play, but phenomenal timing. You asked him this week about which return he likes best. Wide side, short side, or when you take one right back up the middle on him. Yeah, he's going to love this one. His favorite, right back into the teeth of the coverage team.
Well, he said he loves splitting it and going right down the middle. And the reason? It's the ultimate sign of respect. They're so scared you're going to beat them to the field side. They're so scared you're going to sneak it down the boundary that they just forget to leave the middle of the field open for you. And he did it against Montreal last week. He's done it here again on an all-time heater. The third touchdown in 3 weeks for number 3.
And we'll take a look back at that return by Janarian Grant. Monster play in this game. First 3 men downfield. Outside guys are trying to get as deep as the football to contain this. Grant just threatens outside to push Carthel Flowers-Lloyd wide. 56-yard kick. Everyone else is not that deep. That leaves the middle open when you widen that first man down. Janarian Grant makes him pay.
3-point ball game inside 3 minutes remaining. Flags come up as Harris gets wrapped up by Teodric Hansen, chasing the play down from behind. As Janarian Grant kind of like going to the casino and hitting every single 21 that you possibly can over a 3-week stretch. Now 11 in his career, and I got a feeling Earl and Keith might be holding that spot by themselves for only a couple more weeks.
Yeah, just unreal these last few weeks for Janarian Grant. Think about the terrific season put together last year by Javon Leake as the Argonauts' primary returner. He moves to Edmonton in free agency. That's a pretty good replacement. Plugged into Mickey Donovan's Argonaut return unit.
Argos show blitz. Mitchell goes hard count. Cat and mouse here inside 3 minutes remaining. Toronto sends pressure. Mitchell rolls to his right, complete. Hit made, wrapped up to Sean Amos on Tim White. They'll give forward progress for a gain of 5, 2nd and 5.
Gain of 5, 2nd and 5.
And when you're the Hamilton Tiger Cats, your biggest thing right now, I mean, obviously, you need at least a couple of first downs because you know if you're going to end up kicking this ball back to them, you can't give them this short a field for starters, and then obviously keeping that clock moving.
Mitchell again finds Tim White. He's got room. The man they call the cheetah. Quick on his toes across the 30 for a gain of 16 and the Tiger Cats first down.
Yeah, and that is a huge first down for Tim White and the Hamilton Tiger Cats. 2nd and long, Argos sitting back a little bit. Easy completion, then White showing off his after-catch abilities.
Play clock rolls inside 10 seconds. Game clock nears 90. Toronto just wants the football back. First and 10, handoff. James Butler wrapped up. Tackle for loss on the play of about a yard. And the last time that they had second and long, it ended up in Bo Levi Mitchell getting sacked by Jake Serezda. He's going to have to face that reality once again in about 30 seconds.
Yeah, you can just feel the momentum shifting. It's been the Argos offense with Nick Arbuckle in a drive. Argos special teams, Engineering and Grant. And the defense just feeding off of that right now.
6 straight losses you see there to the Argonauts, 10 of the last 11 dating back to 2021. Ryan Dinwiddie and the Argonauts have had the number of Hamilton. You know Tiger Cats fans are just dreading the idea of them finding a new way to lose here in what's already been an 0-5 tough start to the season. Mitchell loads it up, centers the feet, and he'll go down. Gives himself up with Parrish flying in on the backside. Winston McManus and the defense will get off the field, so not only does Toronto get possession back, but they give up a couple of yards as well, trying to move the pocket.
Yeah, Mitchell looked like there was kind of a seam here when he started to step up, as if he was going to take off, and then seemed almost like he had second thoughts and just bailed on it. Jared Brinkman, the injured Argo, saw him grabbing his ankle at the end of that play.
Obviously never want to speculate, but he immediately grabbed in that lower calf area that it always scares you when it comes to Achilles and ankles. Jake Serezda there on a knee, looking over his defensive line teammate, whose parents make the drive up from Iowa City all the time. A couple weeks ago, Kenzie Lalong had a great story on their parents making the drive all the time as we get set for week 7 of the CFL on TSN. It wraps up tomorrow as the Lions head to Calgary to take on the Stamps. You can tune in at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific on TSN and see whether or not Justin McInnes can continue his wild ways of late. And of course, the great Wally Wano being honored and near and dear to your heart. Dwayne spending lots of time with Wally and the Stamps.
Yeah, no question. Wally, my coach for 7 years. Went to 4 Grey Cups together, won a couple of them. Obviously, the greatest coach in CFL history. The record says it, but having played for him, spent that time with him, I can vouch personally, yeah, the best coach you could ever hope to have. Congratulations to Wally, and thank you.
Well-deserved honor, and great to have Calgary and BC. Not only a great game, but obviously the history of Wally's career intertwined. And we'll see what Jake Mara and Vernon Adams Jr. can do, and that one is that man has already had a huge impact on this ball game. Good to see Jared Brinkman make his way to the sideline. Constantino hangs this one again, a monster boot. This time decides to go to the field, and Grant drops it. It's on the turf, rolling around, and who's got it at the bottom of the pile?
Well, Grant providing excitement of a different kind here.
Toronto. Somehow, the ball comes up in the wake arms of Patrick Burke Jr., who's only on the roster here tonight because Stavros Katsatonis was a game-time decision. He couldn't go. That look says it all.
Yeah, take a closer look. That one slips through Grant's hands. Carthel Flowers Lloyd.
The ball was recovered by Toronto.
Looked like Mason Pierce got on top of that one underneath the pile, but Flowers Lloyd, always the first man down the field for Hamilton, was the guy who prevented Janari and Grant from making the recovery.
Oh, having fun. That's what that Ticats band said. Well, here comes the noise. Tim Hortons Field is about to make life as difficult as possible for Nick Arbuckle after he shredded them on his first drive of the ball game. A chance to play hero thanks to Janari. punt return touchdown. And the defense getting some sacks. Arbuckle, one pass, one completion, and a first down on first down, just like he began his first drive.
Yeah, Mackay Polk stepping up with the reception across the middle on this one. Now it's been a lot of DeMonte Coxey since Arbuckle came into the game. We'll keep an eye on him.
In at 14, Arbuckle rips this one, back shoulder. Did he haul it in and get a foot in bounds? They'll say no, incomplete. Went back to the well with Coxey, the third-year man out of Memphis. Did everything he could to hold
Holding on the field is an incomplete pass. Second down.
Coxey would have been out of bounds regardless. Looked like he wasn't even expecting that ball, but just reacted when it was sailing his way.
It's incredible how Argo is seeing and trying to hold off the bench. The Argos can't challenge anything. They have no timeouts left, so wipe that out of the potentialities in this wild matchup between Toronto and Hamilton. This ball tipped. It ends up in the hands of Richie Sindani. Not the intended receiver, but it picks up a couple of yards. It looks like maybe they'll give about 3, play third and 7.
Now Dwayne Hendricks gets a piece of that football on the rush.
Arbuckle, deep drop, loads it up, finding a home run to Coxey. The feet come together, and it will be accidental pass interference, likely the call. And the drama here in Hamilton is who else? It's Jamal Peters, the ex-Argo.
Accidental pass interference. Hamilton number 2. It's a 10-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
That's the important part, the automatic first on 3rd and 7.
Yeah, that's big. Matchup is the one at the bottom of your screen. Coxey and Peters. And you take a shot. As the saying goes, 2 of the 3 things that can happen are good for the offense, right? One of them being a flag. Fortunate and the right call that it is ruled accidental. As you said, Toronto benefits by getting a first down on 3rd and 7. But a spot foul would have moved them into field goal range, obviously, in this 3-point game.
Tiger Cats pass rush was so dominant to open this ball game. Former Argos all over that line. Benoit Marion, Dwayne Hendricks, can any of them get pressure on Arbuckle? He stands in, flips this one high and away. In and around Sindani, but the coverage exceptional that time from Jonathan Moxey. 2nd and 10 from the Toronto 50.
Casey Sales just keeps working on that one to get a piece of the Argo quarterback.
8 seconds remaining. Can they get it to field goal range? Run up and kill the clock to give Liram Hairolahu an opportunity.
And bear in mind, working against the wind, it's going to take a little longer pass to get in that field goal range.
Hard count, and then Mackay Polk went offside, and that'll back them up even further.
The noise of this crowd being an issue for the Argo offense.
Well, it's not Labor Day yet. Sure as heck feels like it here at Tim Hortons Field.
Offside, Toronto number 15. That penalty be declined. Second down. Clock will start on my whistle.
8 seconds remaining, and they got to get on the football here. Nick Arbuckle immediately saying it's time to go. Whistled it in.
Well, this is the last play.
And weren't at the line of scrimmage. He should have been there and ready to snap it. But Tom Valesi whistled it in regardless. 0's on the clock. Final play, barring a penalty. Heaving it down the sideline. Coxey. Incomplete. And by the Ticats clause, they eke out a victory. Their first of the season. And just like back in 2017 when Hamilton began 0-8, it's a home victory over the Toronto Argonauts. It is the tonic that puts a 1